Hey, como se va, y'all? Welcome to Parity Adventures. Guys, today, if y'all been following along on the S10 build, we talked about having to put some pistons back on the rods. Well, that's what we're going to do today. I'm going to show y'all just how I do it. All right. All right. So, first off, I want to start with when you have a piston, we'll talk about the orientation of how it all goes. I don't know if y'all can see on here, right there. There's a little arrow. Some of them might have notches on one of the sides or something like that. But that shows you the direction that the piston needs to face in the motor, right? So when you're connecting your connecting rod to it, what you want to do is on the inside of the caps, you have them little slots there, right? That's for your bearings to connect to. So if I take my piston, right, and I get my arrow pointing to the right on my right side, I want to get my little, if y'all can see that somehow, right there. These right here are going to be facing, I want to be able to see them, basically. So I'll take it, stick it in like this, right? So my arrow is pointing to the right. And if I lay my connecting rod down, both of my bearing connector things, whatever you want to call them, are facing away from me. Okay, they're not inside, because that'll change the orientation. You got to have it set right. So what we're gonna do today is we cleaned it up. These are brand new. So I had to get my engine block board out. So man, I had to go with bigger pistons. So these fresh out of the box, I cleaned up the little holes a little bit with some little emery cloth just to help that wrist pin to slide through. So I got the wrist pins in the freezer. You get them nice and cold, shrinks it down. We're gonna heat up the end of this connecting rod till you get it about almost dark red, just barely glowing red. You don't want it glowing. And then what that'll do is it'll expand this hole open, where when I stick it in here and I push that wrist pin through, it'll all slide in, and as it cools down, it'll hold itself in there. So y'all follow along, and I'll show y'all step by step. All right, y'all. So right here, I'm gonna use this vise because sometimes if you don't get it hot enough, it won't slide all the way through, and I'll need to beat it in there. So, but what I do is while I'm waiting, I use it to kind of hold it in there. So all you need is a little just a little butane bottle, a little burner on the end. All right, we'll crank that up. Okay, and then I'm gonna set that to where it just sits on it for a little while. So it's gonna take roughly about 10 minutes, give or take, depending on how hot your burner puts out. But about 10 minutes is all it takes. And then I let it sit for a little bit. I go get all my parts. So I'll put it sitting here. Then I'll go get my piston. I'll go get my wrist pin. And what I like to do is put a little bit of grease in the ends just to help that wrist pin slide through. And then I got some PB Blaster that I'm going to use to lubricate it all down just to help it slide in a little bit better. So as this heats up, I'll just move it all around. And we'll get it all nice and hot. Nice and hot. And as I'm heating it up, I'm expanding that metal. So what I like to do is, here you go. Go ahead and just work it all around. Got a little wire brush. Take my little wire brush and I pass it in there. Just to clean it up some. Get any debris, anything like that out of there. Okay. So, and then as I get my piston ready, find my piston indicator and I want to make sure that it's pointing right. So when I set it down right there, I know it's to the right. All I got to do is get my bearing tabs facing away from me, slide it in, slide the wrist pin in, and that'll be a wrap. So now it's just a waiting game on letting this thing heat up. Ready to go. Got it lubricated with some PB Blaster, help it slide on in there. So remember, like I said, find your arrow, get it pointing to the right. All right, find your bearing clips, put them away from you. Oh, shoot. Hold up, here. Hold that. You want to kind of get it started. There we go. Get it sliding in there real good. Okay. And now for the fun part. Get that in place. And that's it. Now it's locked up in there. And if I take it and I center it in my piston, I got a little bit of overhang on this one. So what you can do with your vise there, if you're doing it with a vise, I like to do is I'll take it and I can just tap it the rest of the way and get it centered. But you have a pretty good tolerance with this type of stuff. It's not like doing the lower end of the engine. So it ain't bad off. I could, that center there. And that's it, guys. Piston ready to go. So hope y'all like that, and y'all follow along for more advice.